Alrighty, I see a few folks coming in right away. If you are one of the early arrivers, if you have questions, get those in for me right away. If not, we're going to hold out for a moment, let folks continue to join, and we'll get rocking and rolling. You do have today Chris Varley from the Trade Ideas Support and Education team here. Again, as I always say, this is a open forum platform. Take your folks' questions and comments pertaining to trade ideas itself, or possibly a chart or market question we can always entertain as well. Nobody does have any questions for me. I will do my best to keep this interesting and informative, but related to the software and market overall. I do, of course, always prefer when you folks are driving the content of this live stream with your questions. I think it makes for a much better and sounder form of support for you all. But of course, like I said, if nothing comes in, I will do my best to keep this informational but entertaining at the same time. So I'm just going to give it another few seconds to let a few more folks come in. Like I said, if you were here early, don't be shy, get some questions in for me. Any and all questions related to trade ideas. Like I said, if you have a market question as well, we can go over that too. So, all right, I am not seeing any questions coming in to this point. At this point, I should say. There we go. There's no open forum for it. Luke, you're going to find that a lot of users are protective of their strategies. You have some that may share, but for the most part, Trade Ideas users are protective of their strategies. But of course, if you have something you want built, we could do it right here live together. And not only does that get you the strategy you want, but helps get you the underlying support to build your own strategies moving forward. So you're looking for something scalping, but you could be a little more specific on the scalping. You have a price range, minimum volume, shares traded on the day. The more details you can provide, the better. It's always tough for us to help someone build something and they don't give us any kind of time frames, prices, volumes, indicators that they may prefer to use in their strategies for not only the scanning part but the trading part. So all right, yeah, those are things we can work with. Perfect. All right, so let's let's start here. Let me get my menu bar over. So I would first start with going to new on the menu bar and clicking an alert window there. Depending on where you are in your Trade Ideas journey, this is going to have some defaults in it, more likely than not. And the summary tab will probably be called like breaking out on volume or something like that. It's just a default. It doesn't really mean anything. You can name any window, anything you want. I can name a scan there, stocks are, spiking, and call it, stocks at the low of the day. It doesn't, help anybody to do that, of course, but just so it's always a good reference, I think, to make, because people see names of scans all the time and they think there's just one scan called that name, and you can make 1,000 scans called the same name, whether they're the same scan or not, So, all right, we're looking at, you want to be more focused on the NQ, larger stocks, 5-minute time frame, price over 50, QQ, Tesla, so on and so forth. So, all right, so a few things that we could do here. I'm going to work a little backwards than what I would normally work, just because you've given me some pretty good specifics here. We could start with the exchanges tab here. By default, it's going to come with the NYSE, the ARCA, Amex, and the NASDAQ. All check. We do have the pink OTC, B and X, BATS, small exchange, Toronto, so on and so forth. We could skip all those. If you want to get rid of any of these other exchanges, you could simply uncheck them and you could only look at the NASDAQ if that's what you really want to do. But if you're looking at large caps, for the purpose of this, I'm going to leave those all checked. And as I build this out, when we're done, you can follow along, of course, and build yourself, but I'll share a cloud link of what I've done, and you'll be able to load what we've done here as well with that cloud link. And again, anybody here watching, anybody else with questions, Don't be shy. Get the questions in. I will get to everybody's questions. It may take me a couple of minutes to get to some of them. So, of course, I ask you to be patient, but don't be shy. Put your questions in here while Luke and I work through this together. And if you have anybody has any kind of other questions or comments or anything like that pertaining to what we're doing here, don't be shy. Throw those in here as well. All right, so we're looking at larger stocks. So we're going to come here first, and I just want to make sure that we all understand what we're looking at with an alert window. We have here these single icons here that are alert events, like a new high, a new low, new ask high, so on and so forth. There's, I don't know, a few hundred of these probably. As we scroll down, we'll see all these listed here. And then we have below that, a little more than halfway down, we have what we call filters. And those will have the dual icons here, this tealish and purple color, indicating minimum and maximum values. We can see that played out over here in the Windows specific filters tab, right? And so in the search here, we can go ahead and search for anything we're looking for. And if it exists within our database of data points, it'll be returned to you. So for example, I saw you put in RSI in there. And if I go ahead and type RSI, you'll see this is what we return for RSIs here. So you mentioned a 5-minute time frame. We have a 5-minute time framed RSI. This is going to be your standard 14 period. I could select it and hit add filter, and it's going to bring me to the Windows specific filters here. This may have, like I said, some preloaded things in here, and you can just always delete those values in there that you don't necessarily want. And we're going to go and let's see, RSI's under 30. So we're going to go with a max of 30 here in the RSI like that. All right. I'm going to hide these other unused ones. And yep, I got you, Luke. I see everything that you're putting in here. So I'm just going over step by step so that we can, so that after this exercise in the future, should you decide to build some of your own alert windows, you'll be comfortable doing so. So, all right, we went over the exchanges. The large stocks priced over 50. So price is usually default here, right? But if I didn't find it as a default here, I could always type price and it'll return me here and all the different things that might have to do with price. Select it, add that filter, brings me back to the Windows specific filters tab, and you set a 50 or more. So we put 50 there. And if I click this magnifying glass, and they'll call me the show me function. And that show me function now says, show me stocks where the price is at least $50. This will update real time too. So if I were to say I wanted to cap it $2,000, for example, now it says show me where the price is between 50 and 2,000. If I press OK, you'll see the 2,000 is moved over to here as well. We're going to get rid of that because we don't want a cap on this. We want to look at the large stuff. All right. So bullish, but RSI under 30. Now on the large volume candle, we can't do individual candles for the most part, but for volume, what you'll want to look at here is our 1 minute volume percent here, right? And this works on 10-day average of 1 minute volume, but it's in time frame, not candle. And in the percent, it means that 100 is normal, 200 is 2 times, 300 is 3 times, 400 is 4 times, so on and so forth. So we can go ahead and select that. We can add that filter, and we want to see that volume is kicking around here. I'm going to put 5 in there, meaning we're doing 5 times what we're normally doing at that point. All right. And on some of these large stocks, this may turn out to be too high of a value, but we can go back and we can make adjustments afterwards when we see what's coming through this here. Now, we do have one tricky thing here on the MACD. All right. We only have alert events for MACD. We don't have filters. So on this MACD here, we can select any of these to get that alert. All right. But we're confined to that happening with the filters being satisfied here. But let's go ahead and, again, we set on the time frame of 5 minutes. We're going to go with cross above the signal line. All right. You know what? Let's do both. I'm not a huge fan of many alerts in a scan, but let's do both the signal line and the zero line. All right. We're going to add both those. So if either one of these happens, just needs one of them to happen with the filters we're going to put in here. we're going to get an alert here. All right, let's see what else we had going on here. Yep, throw that question in. Over SMA, 20 SMA. So, all right, let's look for a 20 SMA, and I'm watching for that question to come in. And so let's see, change from a 20 SMA. Nope, just one alert, but you need the alert with all the filters. So in this case where I have two alerts, only one of these needs to happen, but all of this needs to happen with one of those. So you said 20 minutes. I'm going to continue to work on this 5-minute time frame. We're going to add that filter, and I'm going to say we want to be, let's call it 0.15% above the 20 SMA on that 5 period there. And that looks like, we kind of got what you were looking for there. We're going to press OK, and it's going to bring us to the summary here. And we're going to name this Big Stocks for Luke. And then, so all filters have to work and one of the two alerts. Yep, that is correct. You got that right, my friend. And we're going to press OK, and we've got an alert window here. And I'm going to say, unfortunately, we don't have anything that would have met this criteria today. But let's go back and let's look at all and see if anything would have met it over the last 60 some odd days. And we'll go back in and we're going to make some adjustments to see what we can get to come through. So we are not finding anything at the moment. It is thinking and thinking and thinking. And we'll let that continue to think. I'm going to duplicate the window, and we're going to make some adjustments here while that thinks to see if anything comes through it whatsoever. And I kind of feel like that below 30 RSI is what's going to hold you back. So I'm not sure what you mean by change time frame for only normal trading areas. But this, I believe the MACD alert only works in regular hours. So that's what we'd be seeing anyways. If that's what you mean, you don't want it in pre or post market. So, all right, this isn't going to show us anything, unfortunately. Let's drop that RSI 30 real quick and see what happens. All right, so there we go. That RSI 30 was really holding us back. And let's see what's come through this today. So we've got quite a bit coming through this today. And let's see what some of these stocks are. See if I find any of these big names that you were looking at here. I don't see anything huge here that I recognize off the top of my head. They're all obviously high price stocks. I mean, you've got AZO's at $3,000 stock. We're going to need some volume metrics in here for sure. Yeah, because look at these are all very low. Yeah, this is only going to work during normal trading hours because of the MACD alerts. But the MACD isn't boding well for us, I have a feeling right here. So let's play around a little bit. This is the ins and outs of scan making. And again, folks, anybody that has any questions whatsoever, don't be shy. Please get those questions in. I'm gonna put a 1 million for the volume today, and I want to play around with the alerts. I'll throw a new high in here. What we got going on? It's 50 or more million shares traded. All right, I want to see what this now looks like. The stock's making new highs. Oxy, that's a big name. So we already gotten that alert there. Possibly earlier alerts as BABA. Interesting. Baidu. A lot of China coming through here, so I'm guessing China's looking strong today. PDD is another China stock. I know that. There's Monster. Sorry, Monster listening. MicroStrategy was real early on. You know what? We can check that real quick. I didn't think MACD worked in the pre-market, but give me 1 second here. Let's take a look. History time frame. Let's go with 5 a.m. to 7:16 a.m. Yeah, no alerts for MACD in the pre-market. And just for good measure, let me check off a whole bunch of these MACDs. But I'm fairly confident there is no MACD working in the pre-market. And let's go back at that history time frame. Yeah, no alerts. Yeah, MACD definitely doesn't work in the in that. So yeah, that's my other thought there, Luke, is that volume, because here's the thing, those big stocks, Tesla can have its moments, but like Apple, you're never going to see Apple doing 5 times its normal volume unless something really catastrophic, good or bad, happens with the company. The same thing for Amazon and stuff like that, outside of, an earnings in the after hours, obviously, for those specific companies. So, but let's go with 200. We're still above. I'm still trying to think of an alert that you'd want. I'm not crazy about the MACD for what you're trying to do here. I get what you want, but it's got to be crossing that zero line when this happens. It's not crossed already, or crossing the signal line, not crossed already. So that's the thing, because it's not it's not looking at it currently to those. It's looking at it doing that alert. It's happening. So that's why I'm thinking of something else. S&P channel is not updated correctly. If you give me a moment, Synergy, I will take a look at that, and we'll assess what's going on there. Bear with me 1 second while I work this out with Luke real quick. Prints. I'm curious about these running up ones for what you're looking for here. I want to get rid of the new high too. Let's also go running up intermediate. And XPI. And it's curling up right now, trying to make its recovery here. So is the market too. So we have to consider that. And you got to realize that most of these stocks on the bigger side of things, they're going to move. The question is chicken or egg, right? Are these stocks moving the market? Is the market moving these stocks? Wow, HIMS. I continue to kick myself for selling this so many months ago. Aye. A little Palantir. Hasbro. Microsoft. So yeah, you're getting some alerts in here from some stuff that you'd likely want to be seeing. Quite a bit of alerts. So, there could be a way to turn this down too. These are mostly from the running up. There's your Babas, fairly good. We saw that earlier, but it stayed on here. We didn't drop it off by switching things around. Oxy. Get scanning over all these real quick, see what else we got. So, all right, Luke. So, I don't know that how much you're looking for a scalp on these things. It's tough with such high price stocks, but Shake Shack. Yeah, that's tough. The RSI, that RSI under 30 though is going to be tough because you're going to be hard pressed to find the MACD moving up with the RSI so suppressed. That's the big thing there, right? You got the RSI suppressed, but you've got this over 20 SMA and the MACD crossing up. So I think that's going to really cross you up a bit here. So, all right, let me just check out this S&P channel real quick and what we got going on. So, new stock channel bar, S&P 500. I don't know. I got 220, 2025 here. That looks accurate to me. These all look accurate to me. And we talked about Oxy. So I'm not sure what you're seeing there. Or how or why that would be giving you a historical date there. But maybe you want to right click and check on the time frame. The time frame is live during market hours. Check to make sure this isn't in replay here, because if you click this here, you're going to get replay, right? Start stop replay. So make sure that you're on live. Start stop live if it's the race that you're looking at. And same thing here. Come to history. Make sure you're on real time. So Synergy, let me know if any of that helps you there. But we can all see here that everything looks to be in line here the way it should be on that channel. And then back to you, Luke. Recommend say top 3 things for short-term scalp. I would say one thing you want to be looking at is that I'd prefer to see a stock in a trend one way or the other on the time frame. So like this is a hard one. Like this is going to be so hindsight, right? Saying like, oh, if I grabbed it here at a 120 break, it was good all the way up through this way, a scalp or even more, right? It was in this downtrend. How could anybody know that it was going to make a bounce here, right? There's no way to have known that was going to happen. So I would be looking more at stuff that is, I guess, did cross that 20 SMA back over. It does have the running up alert, things of that nature. But look, we got this alert here for Shack. We got it here, right? So, you got that candle and it doesn't move up for a while. That's no scalp, that's for sure. I mean, when I'm thinking scalping, I'm thinking, I'm buying now and I'm selling within the next minute or so. That's what I'm thinking on the scalp, like that. And when I'm thinking scalping, I'm thinking stocks that are like making big moves and spiking, not necessarily big stocks. So, again, when I'm thinking scalp, this is what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking, making something like a new alert window. I'm looking at, let's say, maybe something like a running up now. I'm looking at, probably not putting too much of a floor on this, maybe going at $10 and a relative volume of 3 or more. I want to see the thing is traded, let's say 1 million shares, and we got a 1 minute volume kicking like 1,000, and I want to see this RSI kicking at like 60. I'd be looking at something like this here for scalping, and then let's take a look at some of the alerts that have gone on here. And then Synergy, again, if you can confirm with me those items that I went over in that channel helped you out there. So, let's see. This one came in a few minutes ago. This thing made a big flash move like that. That's what I'm thinking of on scalping, like, you know, this kind of thing here. Let's look at the history of today. Not a ton of alerts, but, let's start looking at some stuff. RPRX, that's a pretty nice move there. CADL, alerts at 1325, runs up to 1370-ish. Talked about that already. PRMB, that one doesn't work so well. SBLK is going to be nonsense. Yeah, Starbulk, shipper. And FIHL, we already saw that. So maybe we got to dial some of this back a little bit. Maybe we come at 750. Now, just for good measure, let's throw in some of your MACD with this lower price stuff going on here. Add that, and let's add that. Still trying to work on that 5-minute time frame. So, no, that's catching the top of that, essentially. Not a lot of MACD alerts. Oh, well, a lot of MACD alerts, not when some of these filters come into play here. So, these are the directions I'm going to ship you off in, though. This one seems to be a little more viable for what you were originally trying to do here. So I'm going to share this via the cloud for you. And I would say work that in. I really think you're going to have to reconsider the RSI being so low or at all. I think that's going to be a big thing here. We can continue to play with this too because nobody else is really asking questions. I'm still waiting on Synergy to confirm with me that what I shared helped. But we can continue to poke at this for a few minutes here. There's nothing else going on, so I don't see any reason why we can't continue this exercise here. And so let's see here. We want to be above that. Want to give this RSI maybe. You want to go max of 40? Let's go max of 45. Let's just see what happens here. And what I'm really looking for is to see if we can get more of the MACD alerts to happen here. Yeah, not really happening. The big thing is this, because if we duplicate this here, so we just configure and we get drop these filters, we're likely going to see a ton of MACD alerts, right? Well, sorry, hold on. Let me get rid of. Right. Like here come the MACD alerts flying in. So let's work backwards. All right. Let's come and let's find stocks with that price, right? Synergy, you're working on it. All right. Very good. Very good. And I can let me know. I can bring that channel back up and we can have a look. You can also, if you want to shoot me an email to info@trade-ideas.com. You'd shoot me an email there, and with a screenshot, if you can, a screenshot of what you're seeing on that channel. That might lead me to what's tripping you up on that. I want to make sure we get you sorted out, of course. All right, so we put that 50 in there. We want to make sure that we're getting stocks that are trading. We don't want stocks that are not trading. So let's get that volume up there too. So the MACD with the price, let's just start there and see what we've got today. So, all right, that's a good amount of alerts coming in here. All right, we got Microsoft has come through on a MACD cross. Um, eBay, IBM, some blue chips for you. Oxy, your mobile, Qualcomm. So, all right, so we're finding some of these like that here. All right. And all right, let's now add in. See, sometimes you work forward, sometimes you got to work backwards, right? Let's add in that 20 SMA. Let's make sure we're above the 20 SMA. Let's see how that impacts the scan now. There's Lily, Broadcom. Coke, Nike. Definitely getting your high price, big caps. Bristol Myers. Meta, NVIDIA. So yeah, we're definitely getting AMD early, real early. Yeah, you can sort it like that if you want. It's going to jumble your times. So you're not, you know what I mean? So it's on the history, you're not seeing it by time now, you're seeing it by price. You can do that, yes. That's also part of what I call the view mode here, properties, view mode. You see how it's now checked with group and sort by instead of newest first. So you can definitely do that as well. So, all right, I'm going to resave this one here, but we're going to call it Big Stocks for Luke version 2. All right. I'll give you a couple different things to work with here. Nah, no futures, just stocks. No futures, no option. We have some options volume data for filters, but not the chains themselves or the strikes or anything like that. Copy. And let's ship this over here. So, a couple different things to work with, and then hopefully some of the stuff that we went on can get some of your creative juices flowing as well. And then, something important I didn't mention before. We come into the configure, and we're in the search here. If you click on any one of these and you press the help, you're going to get a web page that looks like this. It's going to go over what exactly the filter and or alert is and how it works and some examples and things like that. So, that may help you as well in playing around and getting the creative juices flowing. You could also right click any of these icons. Once you select it, if you right click it, you get the help as well. And you can do the same thing in the Windows specific filters tab. You can right click and get the help. But of course, you got it right here as well, where you can click and just press the help on that too. So, and again, folks, we're 34 minutes in. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer those. Eager to answer those. If I'm being honest, I used to say this a lot in live streams, but look, everybody has an agenda, right? Everybody's got an agenda. Some agendas are good, some agendas are bad, some are neutral, right? And some might be good to one person and bad to another, even though it's the same agenda. What I'm trying to say here is where I'm going with this is that I have an agenda here at Trade Ideas. We have an agenda here at Trade Ideas. Our agenda is to get as many people subscribing to the software as possible, right? But The big but on this is it's great if we get lots of people to subscribe. That's what we want as a business, right? But if subscribers struggle, that's not good for us, right? We need you folks to succeed with the software. We need you to be successful traders. If you are not, this is all for naught, right? So that's why I really push and pressure folks to ask questions here. Uh, we like to think of ourselves as, we are the tools and we are the product to build a house, right? We are your nails, your hammer, your backhoe. We are the boards. We are the sheetrock. We are the compound. We are the tape. We are the nails. We are the concrete. We are the foundation, right? You folks decide how you put that house together, though, right? That's the way we like to see this relationship working, and we want you all to clearly build the house you're looking for. On occasion, the house you're looking for isn't exactly the house you end up building. But if that house is a successful home, if that strategy is a successful strategy, if you are having success in the market, that's what counts in the end, right? So I understand there's a lot of buzz out there and all kinds of people pitching and selling all kinds of things out there, and some I'm sure is fine, and a lot I'm sure is not. But that's why you're never going to hear us here telling you, oh, you got to buy this, or you need to scan this way, or you have to do this, right? We want to help you learn the software, and in return, you're likely to learn the market. Uh, Something I share also as well fairly often is I have no finance background, right? What I'm doing here, I taught myself all this long before I came to work for Trade Ideas. I decided I wanted to trade. I knew it would be hard. I discovered Trade Ideas software. I discovered the live streams. I discovered the trading room with Barry. I took notes. I asked questions. I got my butt kicked, lost a bunch of money. I was able to make some corrections and understand what risk management is. And now, well, I make a few dollars anyways. I will not be buying any summer homes anywhere anytime soon, but I am paying bills at the very least. Truth Seeker, can I look at the Nike chart again? Looks like it might be moving up. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at Nike. Whoop, got to get rid of that configure. Sorry. NKE. Let's look at Nike. All right. So, I mean, for those keeping score at home, I like an 8 EMA on my intraday time frames, and we can see that 8 EMA is really keeping price pressed down right now. It would be interesting if Nike can get over that 8 EMA on the 5-minute chart there and take out that 76.50 level or touch higher right here. This is where I'm kind of looking at, one, that's definitely a resistance area. And two, every time prices come up to meet that, it's been rejected. Now, look, there's nothing magic about this 8 EMA. In fact, I used to use a 10 SMA a lot. I don't, I started having some success with the 8 EMA a little more than the 10 SMA, and that's why I kept it. That's why I moved towards it. But 10 SMA probably look just about the same on this, more than less. In fact, let's take a look here. I would bet this is being pressed down by that. Where am I looking? Indicators. Let's get an SMA going. 10 SMA, not 100, 10, Chris, 10. Look at that, right? I mean, not far off from each other, right? So just to show you that, no magic indicator or anything like that. Both are very viable. Both are great. The math on the SMA is much easier. I think a lot of people could do that math in their head. I don't think there are many people that can do the math of an EMA in their head. So, keep those things in mind. I think that stuff is important. But yeah, Nike's trying to, it's closed the candle above it. Now it's fighting with it above there. The one thing I like to note with stuff like this is, let's, look at the SPY, right? Nike gap down, SPY gap down, moving down, chopping, trying to move up. moved up actually and chopping, then moved down and chopping, right? So trying to move up again with the market, it looks like more than less. Not following it to a T, but close enough. And again, folks, I'm here for about another 20 minutes. If folks have questions, I'll stick around longer than 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm happy to stick around to help with questions. If not, I will wrap up at that 1 p.m. time, give or take. So yeah, that's Nike right there. Curious. I think I have a go no go here. Yeah, so yeah, I keep these go no goes in the background here. I don't really use them anymore, but it's in a no go right now. We could also throw the trade wave on here. So going to take a little bit more to get a trade wave buy signal there. Probably gonna, it's good. Definitely got to clear that 755 level, give or take, and get a candle close above it. So it's battling. Buyers and sellers are battling there. But, all right, for the moment, no other questions coming in. I said before, there's a lot of China stocks coming in through those scans that look like they're moving up and in a bullish phase. All right, so China gapped up, made that big move, and is fading. But man, hard to ignore what it's doing here, right? Trying to really get it going. I mean, there's a low and a higher low and a higher low, right? Here's a high and a higher high. Take that out, just to point out how subjective technical analysis is, right? I could do this and change the whole game, right? And we could call this the low, right? And a move up, we'll call that a baseline for a high. We call that a higher low. And call that yet a higher high from this baseline up here, right? It's all subjective, right? I scroll back and then that looks like junk what I just did, right? So, let's keep these things in mind. But where I'm really going with this is, China just crashing. That looks like a bottom. And that, my friends, that could very well be a generational bottom for the Chinese market, right? I'm just saying. I wouldn't go chasing after stuff now after this move. I'd like a digestion personally. But, on the grand scheme of things, we really rock this thing back into a weekly chart here. You can't ignore that, right? And in fact, one might call that a double bottom. Now, these things are hindsight, right? These things are hindsight. So let's keep that in mind. But I think this is a pretty significant level right here. And if it holds above this, these are Chinese large cap stocks. 40 doesn't look out of the realm of possibility at this point. I'm curious, what does the K-Web look like? KWEB, for those keeping score at home, K-Web is your Chinese internet stocks. Interesting as well. This didn't quite make that double bottom, what we saw there, bottomed here, right? And then just really kind of just chopped people to pieces all through here. Spike up and a fade. It faded back into some support here, right? Faded back into some support here. And trying to make its move now. So certainly interesting. Again, anybody with questions, please, I don't mind throwing and talking into the void here and all that. But anybody can make market commentary and draw some lines on a chart, right? Anybody can do that stuff. not everybody can walk you through the trade idea software like we can here. So you got those questions, I love to answer them. Net trade one. Hello, can you please explain when a stock is trading above its floating volume like XOS today? Floating volume? XOS, it's trading above its. Oh, you mean that it's traded more shares than it has in the float? Just rotating. That's all. People going in and out of this thing. As they buy, they're selling back to people that want to buy in. That's what you got going on. It's what you'd call float rotation. We actually have a filter for that here. By right click and come into the search of the scan here. Oh, turnover. We call it float turnover. There we go. See float turnover. And again, if we click the help menu on this, it tells exactly what it's doing. Float turnovers filter provides a snapshot of today's trading volume relative to the total number of shares available for trading the float. So that's that's what I could give you on that. And if you have other questions, throw those in there, NetTrade. Don't be shy, please. Sing, purchase your system. Best way to swing trade. So best and worst are subjective in just about everything. My example being, if you come to, I used to work in restaurants. I worked in restaurants for 27 years. If you came to the restaurant and you said, what's the best dish? And I told you the sea bass, and you said, well, I'm allergic to fish. I would say, well, then I guess, we're at an impasse at what's best, right? Same thing here, but what I can show you, how can we trade it? Bear with me. And Dylan, same thing. Bear with me a moment while I answer some questions for Sing, and I will stick around past 1 o'clock to answer your folks' questions if you guys stick around. Let me help Sing just a moment here. So Sing, what I would say is, knowing your time frame, right? Is your swing trade a day, 2, 5, 6? What are you looking, to come out of some kind of base over a certain amount of time, things like that. So let me go over a scan that I use for swing trading as an example. I'm going to put this back in top list form here. And so I've got this scan here. And what I did is I programmed this scan to say, show me stocks were above $11 or more. Relative volume is 1, meaning it's trading at least its average volume over the last 30 days right now. It's traded at least 750,000 shares on the day. It's 75% above the low of its 20-day range. And it's also 75% above the low of today's range. And what I'm hoping to do towards the end of the days here is I look at stocks that look like they're trending strong, but not spiked or ran away, but they're trending strong into the close, and that they may have some room into tomorrow's open and the days after that. So that's what I'm doing here with this. And, let's go over a few stocks in this and see what we find. Let's get back to a daily chart, because a weekly chart's not going to help. I'm not looking at weekly time frames on this. So let's just pretend for a second if we were moving into the close right now, this nice pattern, this kind of breakaway that's happening here, and look at how nice we're breaking out of this all here. This is a pattern that I'd be looking for to possibly take into tomorrow. So that's what I would be doing, and these are the kinds of things that I do and I'm looking for. And I'll share the scan with you, but I'm going to go over some more stuff pertaining to swing trading as well. So let me get you a link to that scan real quick, and I'll walk you through how you use that link. Just bear with me. File, load from cloud. Let's see here. My evening scan. We want this one. Share. Copy that link. Okay, so this link that I'm sharing, you're going to click that link. All right. And when you click that link, you're going to get a web page that's going to look like, bear with me. Got a web page that looks like this, and it's going to tell you we've got a top list. It's one window. Here's the name of it. And you're going to copy this link, and you're going to go to File, load from cloud, and it should auto paste here. If it doesn't auto paste here, just go ahead and fill it in, and you press load, and you will have the scan that I just shared with you right here. All right. And you can either have it in that tree map or you can have it not in the tree map. That's up to you. Just right click and select that. And then to keep that scan forever and ever, right click it, go to save or share to cloud. And you go ahead and click that and you'll save it. And then you'll find it in file, load from cloud, and it'll be here forever and ever for you. But let me go over a few other scans and thoughts. And we're going to build a scan together so that you can go forth and play around and get those creative juices flowing for this. So, but one other scan I'm a big fan of on my swing trading. I got two reasons why I'm a fan of this one here. Go over both those. First, let me share it with you. Let's get that in here. That's beautiful. There we go. All right. And position lifetime range. All right. And so what I did here is I said, let's look at stocks that are $8 or more. I want that relative volume of 1 again. I want to know that it's on pace to at least do its normal volume right now. Traded at least 1 million shares on the day, and it's got to be 85% above the low of its lifetime range, right? So we want stocks that are we're up there, we're climbing, right? That's what I want to see. And the reason why is two reasons. One, I want to find stuff that looks strong to buy, right? It's got no chart resistance or not much. This thing ain't got no chart resistance on it, right? We're sitting at lifetime highs. There's nothing to block me up here. There's no resistance to run into up here, right? This is even better. We're past earnings. It's gold. We know gold is hot, right? Beautiful looking setup that we got going on right here, all right? The second thing is how many stocks are on this scan? We got a lot of stocks on this scan. We can't be in a bear market, right? Because we don't see a lot of stocks near all-time highs in a bear market, right? And this here is the position in lifetime range column. That's how we're sorting on this. And we can see stuff that's above the lifetime range. It's taken it out today. And we can see stuff right at it, to slightly below it, all the way down to here. We can look at the quality of these stocks. Shake Shack, it's, significant player in the world. United Airlines is a significant player in the world. Dunkin' Brands is Duke Energy, sorry. 86 billion market cap. That's no sleeper, right? Got the Home Depot. It's a very important stock for the economy, right? This thing's sitting not too far off its all-time high here, all right? There's gold. The gold miner, sorry, right? Walmart. Interestingly enough, Interactive Brokers. I find this to be a lightning point here. People love it, people hate it, but it's a broker. It's significant. Sitting here just off all-time highs. Goldman Sachs, right? You don't usually see Goldman Sachs sitting in a bad position in a bear market, sitting in a good position in a bear market, right? So, I go through here and I look at what's here and the quality of it. Then I also look to see, is there a theme here? And yeah, there's a big theme here. Look at this. Gold, gold, gold. I know there's more gold in here. Is this gold? Can't remember. No, it's not gold. That's gold. That's gold. It's physical silver, I believe. Yep. And so we've got this, this nice look here. It gives us a good shot of what's really strong in the market, right? There's times where, tech has been rocking and this is all tech, right? Times where energy is, in control and it's all energy, things like that. So now real quick, let's just build something out real fast here. And I apologize, everybody be patient with me. Thank you so much for being patient. Because I know there's a few other things that came in here. I like top lists for swing trading. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to come to top list. It's just a bunch of filters that we're going to do together, and all the filters have to be met. So let's just say, a lot of times people say, I want to find stocks that are trending. I want to find stocks that are trending. Well, what's a good way to find a stock that's trending? Why don't we stack some moving averages, right? We got a bunch of simple moving averages. So let's go with SMA, right? Let's expand this out so we can see a little better here. And well, let's, we're above a 50-day moving average. All right, let's see that. Let's say, well, we want to be 1% above the 50-day moving average. All right, and the 200-day moving average. Let's say we want to be 2% above that. Let's search this out here. 20-day moving average. Let's add that in. You know what? I lied. Let's go with 3, 2, and 1 here on those. All right, let's give it some price going on. Let's go with stocks that are above $10. Make sure they're trading 1.5 on the relative volume. Let's give it a 1 million here. Put a 1M for that on the shares traded today. All right, and let's see what that returns us here. Right, we're going to call it. Let's call it support session. Sesh trend. There we go. And we're going to bring that over. And I'm going to share this out with you folks as well. All right. We're going to find stuff that's, well, done some crazy spiking like that. We can use the power of the sort. We didn't talk about this with top lists yet, but let's look at the power of sort. Let's find stocks that are in this good position, but maybe they're real close to the 200-day moving average. I want to show that column too. Let's see the distance on these. Let's show these columns. I care about the change from the open here. I care about the change from the close. I want to find stuff that looks good that we might be interested in right now. All right, making a nice turn here. So if you're a bottom fisher, right, this might be something you're interested in. This is at that top of that range right here. Might be something you're interested in. All right, so a lot of different things we can do with the scans and things here. Is Hasbro having itself a day because of earnings, breaking right out. There's some mining. We talked about precious metals breaking on out for us here. And so these are the different things that we can do. I'm going to share this as well. Just make sure to save these to your cloud, please, because these links do eventually expire. Whoops, I did not do that right. Bear with me. There we go. And, I encourage everybody, get the creative juices flowing in the search here. Think about what you want to look for. Do you want an RSI? Type in RSI. Do you want some volume stuff? Type in volume, right? You want some kind of volatility, right? Open volatility. See what we get returned. If we have it, you're going to find it coming into you like that on that there. So, all right. I thank you all for your patience on that. Now you, NetTrade, asked, how can we trade it? Well, you were talking about the float turnover here. I think that was XOS, right? If I remember correctly. So, like anything else, you got to have a plan, right? What's your plan? What's your indicators, right? So, personally, me looking at something like this, if I was looking to intraday trade it, I want to get rid of the trade wave just for a second here. I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, all right, this thing gapped up, consolidating. It's all of a sudden it touches and it's got a boost from this 8 EMA, and we're breaking out that 15-minute range right here. I might consider that to be an entry point, right? That's one thought on how to trade it. And I may decide to hold it until we get a candle close below my 8 EMA. You can use a 10 SMA, you could use a 9 EMA, you could use a 13 EMA, you could use a 50 SMA. There's no magic on any of these indicators. It's the ones that you got to go through and test these indicators How do you feel about them? How do they appear to you? It's almost like you should get a rapport with the indicator you like the most, and it should almost kind of speak to you in a sense. And whether that's an indicator here or an indicator down here or a combination thereof, right? Someone may want to see the RSIs above a certain level while it's above a certain moving average, right? So that's an example of how to trade something like that. It's also, you've got something here that's moving some significant price levels very quickly. So for me personally, I'd be taking smaller share sizes on this, right? I would not be giving it a lot of wiggle room. If it's something I grabbed, let's say I grabbed it here at what's that price there? About 523. We get this move up here to $6, like real fast. I got to take out at least half, if not more, of that trade, right? That's the trade management part of it. And you got greed saying, "Oh, I got to hold on. What if this thing just keeps going?" And you got fear that's going to tell you, "Well, I should sell some because what if this thing collapses?" Right? And so maybe a way to handle that greed and fear would be to sell some of that off, uh, satisfying a little bit of both demons, right? And so you got 100 shares. You peel out of 60 of them. You locked in $60. You get too much of a wiggle here. You don't like it. Boom, you get out the rest, you know, just like that. That's an example of how to trade it, but there's there's no one way to do this, just like there's no one way to use an indicator. It's all subjective technical analysis, and you got to paper trade it and test it, and then you journal these trades and you say, I did XYZ, it resulted me ABC, this is what worked well, this is what not worked well. And over the course of journaling like 100 trades, you're going to notice that the same errors cost you money, and the same proper management and the same planning is going to bring you in that money like that. You'll see the good things happen over and over again in trades. The bad things happen over and over again in trades. They repeat each other like that. So synergy, I click right mouse, but I do not see time frame option. Yeah, if you can, you're gonna have to send in a screenshot from you there, Synergy. Because I mean, if you click any scan, you should get a time frame or history every scan, no matter what, with the exception of the races. On the races, you're simply looking here, right? So if I duplicate this real quick, where's my duplicate? There we go. If I duplicate this and I press the replay, I'm replaying, and the play is paused. If I hit the play, then the replay is paused, right? So there's that between those two buttons there for replay and not. That's the only one that's not going to show a time frame. On an alert window, you're going to see history. The same thing for a multi-strategy window. A in the corner for alert, M in the corner for multi-strategy, T in the corner for topless, and you're going to have those items that are there. Covered that. Can I use a watch list of stock tickers and run it through the Market Explorer to get an update? Not at this time, AJ. Maybe someday in the future. I can tell you it's not on the planning board right now. The Market Explorer is, you get what you get with the Market Explorer type of scans. It runs on a completely different set of technology than what you have for alert windows, topless, and races. So at this time, there's no entrance way into that with a symbols list. All right, we can cruising along here. We're a few minutes after 1. I will stick around if you folks have questions. And you're welcome, AJ. Like, I don't like telling people they can't do something. It's not something that brings me any sort of happiness whatsoever. I'd like to tell users they can do all the things they want to do, of course, but I also don't want to lead you on to something that just doesn't happen or is not possible. Again, I will stick around a few more minutes if folks have questions. So don't be shy. Get those questions in. If there are no questions, I am going to wrap up for the day. I'll start to kind of give a silent auctioneer's countdown in my head. Give you all another moment to search for hammer candles on yesterday's close. So we have this. I'm going to duplicate this here. Come into the configure symbol list. Get rid of my liked, add existing list. Hold on, let me make this bigger. It's alphabetical order daily. And hammer. Hammer. Okay. Okay. And these all have hammer candles from yesterday. Somewhere in the ballpark of a hammer. So there's yesterday's candle. That's a hammer. Interestingly enough, not a hammer. Hammerish. Hammer. Hammer. Close anyways. In the ballpark. So you could do it that way. That's one way to do it. How else could we do a hammer candle for yesterday? We'd have to use history. We'd have to use history because we can't look at yesterday, today like that. But we could, where are you? Let's go new, top list. Search yesterday. Percent down. Yeah, that's not going to change. Previous day percent. Huh. This is a tricky one. How do we do this? I'm sure I can get something that's going to give us some results we want. It's not going to be perfect. Let's see. You are very welcome, both the True Seeker and Natasha. And again, I'll stick around a couple more minutes if there's some questions, folks. So fire the questions in and you'll keep me here. Otherwise, I'm going to work through this exercise and then I'm going to shut down. But like I said, I will stick around. Oh, I'm supposed to go to a meeting right now. All right, give me. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in a meeting. I forgot. All right. I'll have to think of that. True Seeker, if you can hold me to it, remind me the next time I'm here. I'll probably be here on Monday. Not probably. I'll be here on Monday. We try to work through building a top list that could show hammer candles outside of the symbols this way. I do. You have to wrap up. I just remembered I'm supposed to be in a meeting. So I thank you all very kindly for joining me on the day, for all the interactions. Please remember, we do this every single day at noon Eastern, every single market day at noon Eastern, I should say. And we'd like to have you here. Also, the Traders Room with Barry. Don't be shy. Get in there as well. And if nothing else, you all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Thursday. Take care.